Ever get that feeling like there's got to be something more out there? Like more to your work life? I mean, maybe a side hustle idea that just keeps popping up.
Yeah.
Or you've got all these skills that you're just dying to use in a different way.
Right.
Maybe even like in a way that could bring in some extra cash.
Of course.
And give you more control over your time.
Makes you wonder if the 9-to-5 grind is the only way, huh?
It really does. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Excited to hear it.
You've sent over some really cool material stories of people who built their own thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And often starting with almost no money, just by tapping into what they were already good at and, the things they were passionate about.
Love that.
We're looking at some notes from pasted text you sent.
Yep.
And some real practical advice from Chris Guillebeau's book, The $100 Startup.
Classic.
So think of this as a deep dive just for you.
All right.
We went through everything and pulled out the core principles and the most interesting stories. Awesome. The goal here is to give you those actionable insights that get you thinking about, different career paths.
Sure.
Or even just to give you a fresh perspective on what you're already doing.
I like it.
So the first thing that jumped out at me was this idea of the power of convergence.
Okay.
It's that sweet spot where what you love doing or what you're already good at meets a real need.
Right. So you're saying it's not just passion, but passion plus.
Exactly. It's about finding that overlap between something you enjoy and something other people value enough to actually pay for.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it's not just about, loving your job. It's about how that passion helps you through the rough patches.
Because there are always rough patches.
Oh, yeah, for sure. When you're starting something new, there are always going to be challenges.
Absolutely.
But when you genuinely enjoy the work or you're using skills you've already honed,
Right.
those obstacles don't seem so impossible to overcome.
You've got that built-in motivation.
It's like a superpower. Take Jaden Hare, for instance. She runs Steamy Kitchen.
I've heard of it.
She loves Asian cooking, but it wasn't just a hobby for her. It was a way to meet a real need.
Well,
People wanted those delicious, easy-to-follow recipes.
and she was able to deliver.
And that passion fueled her to build a whole platform around it.
Amazing what passion can do.
It really is. And when you're using skills you've already developed, you're not starting from scratch, you bring so much to the table right away.
You hit the ground running.
Right. Like Brandon Pierce, the piano teacher who created Music Teacher's Helper.
That rings a bell.
He was a programmer, which isn't directly related to teaching piano.
Right.
But he saw a need within his profession.
Yeah.
And he applied his existing skills to create something really valuable.
Interesting. So he was able to
Connect the dots.
Exactly. Connect the dots between his skills and a real need.
And that's what it's all about. Now, what about those skills we might not even realize we have?
The hidden talents.
Right. The sources talk about how we often put our skills in boxes.
We compartmentalize.
And we don't see how they could apply to something totally different.
Interesting.
It's called skill transformation.
Okay.
Taking what you already know and applying it in new ways to create value.
I like that. Skill transformation.
And the best part, it gives you a huge head start.
You're not a total beginner.
Not at all. It's like building on a foundation you already have.
Makes sense.
Like Kat Older.
Okay.
She was a waitress who started her own PR firm.
Wow, that's a big leap.
It is. But her people skills from being a waitress were super transferable.
Right. Those are valuable anywhere.
And essential for success in PR.
So she transformed those skills.
Exactly. And the sources point out some big mistakes people make when they don't recognize this.
Like what?
Well, they might totally ignore past experience.
Go.
Like someone starting a food business who forgets about all those years handling customer complaints.
Right. That's valuable experience.
Totally. Or they might think they need more qualifications.
Like formal education.
Yeah, instead of trusting their natural talents.
That can hold people back.
It can. Like a marketer who delays launching their business to get another certification.
Even though they already have the skills.
Exactly. They already have the skills, but they lack confidence.
I see.
The sources also talk about this transactional mindset.
What's that?
It's focusing on the immediate sale, not on building relationships.
Okay.
Which is a skill a lot of people in service industries have.
They do.
But they don't realize how valuable it is.
Right.
And then there's missing out on customer feedback.
So important.
No matter how skilled you are, if you're not listening to your customers,
You're missing out.
You're missing out big time. You miss those crucial insights for improvement.
And for finding new ways to offer value.
Exactly. So we've got our passion aligned with something useful.
Sure.
And we're thinking about our skills in new ways.
Yeah.
What's the next key ingredient for building a successful business?
I'd say the next piece is what the sources call the value doctrine, which really boils down to understanding your target audience.
Like knowing who your ideal customer is,
More than that, it's about understanding their needs.
their desires, their frustrations.
Exactly. You're not just selling a product or service, you're offering a solution.
You're helping them achieve something,
Or avoid something they don't want.
providing an experience, facilitating a transformation,
And communicating that value clearly is key.
and making it personal, connecting with them on an emotional level.
Right. It's not about the features, it's about the benefits.
The tangible ways you're offering improves their lives.
Exactly. And you always need to be asking yourself, how can I help my customers more?
I love that. It's about going above and beyond.
It is. Like the story about Kyle Hepp, the wedding photographer.
Oh, yeah.
His clients said they didn't want traditional posed photos,
Interesting.
but he sensed a deeper desire.
Like they might regret it later.
Exactly. So he made sure to capture those classic shots anyway.
He anticipated their needs, even if they couldn't articulate them themselves.
That's true customer service.
It is. It's like the orange slice at mile 18 analogy.
I like that.
You're providing exactly what someone needs at the perfect moment.
When they need it most.
Exactly. This brings us to the idea of crafting compelling offers.
Okay.
It's about packaging your value in a way that really resonates.
So people can't say no.
Right. It's about making your offer irresistible.
I'm listening.
The sources say that compelling offers lead to way more sales.
People are more likely to say yes.
Exactly. Like Jonathan's yoga studio.
Okay.
He offered discounted unlimited classes during a slow month.
Smart.
It was a win-win. He filled his classes and people got a great deal.
Makes sense.
So how do we create these irresistible offers?
Well, the sources highlight a few key elements.
Let's hear them.
First, you need to dig deep and understand what your ideal customer really wants.
Which might be different from what they say they want.
Absolutely. Then you need to clearly articulate the benefits.
Both the primary and any secondary benefits.
What problem are you solving and what extra perks are you throwing in?
Right. And you need to address any potential objections up front.
Take away those barriers to entry.
And finally, create a sense of urgency.
That limited time feeling.
Exactly. People are more likely to act if they feel like they might miss out.
It's a powerful motivator.
It is. And what about offering a strong guarantee to minimize risk?
That's huge. It shows confidence in your offering.
Like Nev Lapwood, he offers a 120% guarantee on his snowboarding lessons.
Wow, 120%. That's impressive.
It is. And it removes any hesitation for potential students.
That's smart.
And the travel hacking cartel guarantees a certain number of frequent flyer miles.
That's a bold move.
It is, but it shows they stand behind their service.
I like it.
They also mentioned this rough, awesome format for structuring an offer.
Okay, break it down for me.
You start with the primary benefit.
The main thing you're offering.
Then you reinforce it with secondary benefits.
Yeah, that bonuses.
Then you address any concerns or objections.
Head them off at the pass.
And finally, you close with a clear call to action.
Tell them exactly what to do.
Exactly. So we've identified our value.
Check.
We've crafted an amazing offer.
Right.
But now comes the part where so many people get stuck.
Actually launching the thing.
Exactly. Putting it out there in the world.
Scary but exciting.
It is. Our sources talk about the importance of an action bias.
Oh,
It's about shifting from just having an idea to actually doing something.
Taking action.
Right. And the sooner you get your offering in front of real customers,
The sooner you can get feedback.
exactly. You can validate your idea and make adjustments early on.
Avoid going too far down the wrong path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Jen and Omar, they launched their mat prints with a basic website.
Just to test the waters.
Exactly. And even that first small sale can be such a huge boost.
It's validation.
It is. It gives you the momentum to keep going.
Like Nick, with his first map print sale. That must have felt amazing.
I bet. And the sources caution against over-planning.
You can get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Totally. You overthink it and never actually launch.
So get it out there and then iterate.
Exactly. They talk about this concept of tweak.
Okay.
It's about making small adjustments to improve your business.
Like improving conversion rates.
Yes. Or increasing your average sale price.
And getting more repeat business.
They mention adding services to your products.
Or vice versa.
And exploring affiliate partnerships.
Makes sense.
And carefully considering outsourcing.
When to delegate.
But they also say that scaling massively isn't the only goal.
Some people prefer to stay small.
Absolutely. Focusing on freedom and lifestyle.
Right, it's about your priorities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Natalie Lussier, she runs 2 intentionally manageable businesses.
I like that.
And Michael Hanna's story is a great example of how quickly you can go from idea to launch.
He started a mattress business unexpectedly?
He did. He lost his job and just went for it.
Wow.
And he didn't even have a formal business plan.
Sometimes you just got to jump in.
You do. And this leads us to understanding your people.
Your ideal customer.
And it goes beyond just demographics.
Age, location, income.
It's about their interests, their passions.
Their skills, beliefs, and values.
It's about connecting with a specific tribe.
Like Kicking Horse Coffee, they target outdoor enthusiasts.
Cyclists, skiers, backpackers, that whole crowd.
And it works for them.
It does. It's about understanding what people want.
And meeting them where they are.
The Grateful Dead had a super diverse but dedicated fan base.
He did.
And Tom Bin was surprised by the variety of people who bought his bags.
Interesting.
It's about selling what people buy.
Whether it's a product or a feeling.
And new marketing is based on invitation, not persuasion.
I like that.
So how do we put all this into action without writing a massive business plan?
The sources mention a one-page business plan as a starting point.
Okay.
But more importantly, they emphasize market testing. Getting your idea out there quickly and cheaply.
Like Jen and Omar, they created maps they loved and then discovered there was a market for them.
That's so cool.
They outline 7 steps to instant market testing.
What are they?
Well, first, you have to genuinely care about the problem you're solving.
Makes sense.
Then you need to make sure there's a decent-sized market.
Do your research.
Exactly. Check Google keyword search volume.
Okay.
And you need to understand that convergence of your skills and the market need.
Like we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And then just take action.
Don't overthink it.
Nick got his first sale soon after launching his website.
That's encouraging.
It is. So once you've got some validation, you can start thinking about growth.
How to scale up.
They call it moving on up.
Okay.
It's about finding ways to increase your income and impact.
Like getting more traffic to your website.
Yes. And improving your conversion rates.
Like getting more people to buy.
And raising your average sale price.
Upsells and cross-sells.
Exactly. And nurturing your existing customers.
Encourage repeat business and referrals.
Like Happy Knits, the yarn store we talked about.
They're killing it online.
They are. They have a great strategy. They use great visuals.
They offer exclusive deals, and they love their customers.
And the sources mention 2 main directions for expansion.
Horizontal and vertical.
Horizontal means reaching a broader audience.
Okay.
And vertical means going deeper with your existing customers.
Got it.
Now, there are lots of different ways to build a business.
It's not a one-size-fits-all journey.
Not at all. The sources talk about some alternative paths and considerations.
I'm intrigued.
Well, there's the idea of franchising yourself.
Interesting.
Sharing your expertise through partnerships.
Okay.
Or building a portfolio of related businesses.
Like Natalie Lussier with her 2 ventures.
They also talk about outsourcing.
The pros and cons of delegating.
Some people love the freedom it gives them.
But others want more control.
Exactly. Like Megan Hutt, she outsources a lot.
But Lee Williams Deming prefers to do everything herself.
And they talk about the importance of regular business audits.
Taking a step back and evaluating your business.
Especially focusing on where your money is coming from.
And tracking key metrics.
Then there's unconventional fundraising.
Like crowdfunding.
Shannon Oki couldn't get a bank loan.
So she launched a Kickstarter campaign.
And it was a huge success.
That's awesome.
And they discuss pricing strategies.
How to set your prices.
Base your prices on the value you provide.
Offer a limited range of prices.
And find ways to get paid more than once.
Subscriptions and memberships.
They mention this $35,000 pricing experiment.
Wow.
Even small price adjustments can make a big difference.
It's all about testing and tweaking.
And they talk about the importance of health insurance.
Often overlooked by entrepreneurs.
They mention high deductible plans.
And health savings accounts.
So you've built your foundation.
We're ready to launch.
But first, you need to build some anticipation.
Like a movie premiere.
Exactly. A pre-launch campaign to get people excited.
Generate some buzz.
Then you have your big launch.
With a killer offer and a limited time availability.
Like Carol and Adam, their launch was super successful.
That's what we like to hear.
And it's not just about the launch day.
There's a whole sequence involved.
Pre-launch content to build excitement.
Then the open card announcement.
With a clear call to action.
Tell people exactly what to do.
And don't forget about post-launch follow-up.
Stay engaged with your new customers.
Nurture those relationships.
And don't forget about those who showed interest but didn't buy.
Re-engage them.
You never know.
The sources also talk about the power of strategic giving. It's about genuinely helping others without expecting anything in return.
Like paying it forward.
Like Megan Hunt, she made custom dresses for bloggers.
That's generous.
It was, and it built valuable relationships.
Long-term thinking.
Building relationships is a marathon, not a sprint.
And always keep an eye on your profit and cash flow.
The fundamentals of business.
Let's talk about fear of failure.
A big one for a lot of people.
It's natural to be scared.
The sources acknowledge that, but they encourage taking the leap anyway.
What's the worst that can happen?
Right. As long as nobody's going to die.
Take the risk.
And remember, that first sale is often the hardest.
Once you get that momentum going.
Exactly. To wrap things up, the sources share tons of real-world examples.
People who build successful businesses.
Michael Hanna, the mattress king.
Love it.
Kat Alder, from waitress to PR maven.
Good scoring.
Brandon Pierce, using his tech skills to help music teachers.
That's convergence in action.
Kyle Hepp, the photographer who anticipated his clients' needs.
Always go the extra mile.
Megan Hunt, the wedding dress designer.
Building a brand with heart.
Benny Lewis, teaching the world how to learn languages.
The power of sharing your knowledge.
Gary Leff, turning his travel expertise into a business.
Finding the niche you're passionate about.
Jen and Omar, the map makers who followed their passion.
Sometimes the simplest ideas are the best.
Silly Pines, the Katuba artist.
Beautiful and meaningful work.
Even Rhett, the resourceful tuk-tuk driver in Cambodia.
Proving that anyone can be an entrepreneur.
They all found ways to leverage their skills and passions.
And provide real value to others.
And so many of them were driven by the desire for freedom.
To be their own boss. To create their own destiny.
So as we close out this deep dive, what are the key takeaways you'd want our listener to remember?
Well, we've covered a lot, but it all comes back to a few key ideas.
I'm listening.
The power of convergence. Finding that sweet spot between what you love and what the world needs.
Okay.
Skill transformation. Using your existing skills in new ways.
Got it.
The value doctrine. Always focusing on how you can best serve your customer.
Makes sense.
Crafting compelling offers that make people want to say yes. Embracing an action bias, getting your ideas out there quickly.
And understanding your ideal customer.
Deeply understanding them.
Testing your ideas, finding what works.
And constantly exploring new strategies for growth and sustainability.
It all starts with recognizing your own potential.
And then finding a way to use that potential to meet a need in the world.
So as you're thinking about everything we've talked about today,
what are your aha moments?
What unexpected combinations of your own skills and interests can you start to explore?
And what's one small action you can take today to start exploring those possibilities?
Even just a little bit of research or a quick conversation.
And we encourage you to dive deeper into those source materials.
The full stories of the people we mentioned offer even more inspiration.
Consider what resonated with you most.
And how those insights might apply to your own situation.
There's a whole world of possibilities out there waiting to be discovered.
So go out there and make it happen.
You got this.
Until next time.
See you later.
Bye. Ever get that feeling like there's got to be something more out there? Like more to your work life? I mean, you know, maybe a side hustle idea that just keeps popping up. Or you've got all these skills that you're just dying to use in a different way.
Right.
Maybe even like in a way that could bring in some extra cash.
Of course.
And give you more control over your time, you know?
Makes you wonder if the 9-to-5 grind is the only way, huh?
It really does. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Excited to hear it.
You know, you've sent over some really cool material stories of people who built their own thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And often starting with almost no money, just by tapping into what they were already good at and, you know, the things they were passionate about.
Love that.
We're looking at some notes from pasted text you sent.
Yep.
And some real practical advice from Chris Guillebeau's book, The $100 Startup.
Classic.
So think of this as a deep dive just for you.
All right.
We went through everything and pulled out the core principles and the most interesting stories. Awesome. The goal here is to give you those actionable insights that get you thinking about, you know, different career paths.
Sure.
Or even just to give you a fresh perspective on what you're already doing.
I like it.
So the first thing that jumped out at me was this idea of the power of convergence.
Okay.
It's that sweet spot where what you love doing or what you're already good at meets a real need.
Right. So you're saying it's not just passion, but passion plus.
Exactly. It's about finding that overlap between something you enjoy and something other